Morning students. Today we are going to continue lesson 8, the new empire, the first empire, Mauryan Empire, and today we will do from page number 63, the aftermath of the battle of Kalinga. What was the effect of Kalinga war on Ashoka? Okay, so we open page 63, aftermath of the battle. After the battle of Kalinga and seeing the plight of the dead and the wounded, Ashoka was emotionally moved. As I told you before also, when Ashoka saw the scene of the bloodshed of the battle of Kalinga which he had won, he was taken up, he moved, he felt very bad by seeing the plight, the scene of bloodshed and the people crying. He took it upon himself to spread the message of peaceful coexistence called Dhamma. So he said, now anymore I will not go for war or fight. I will spread the message of peace, which is called Dhamma, that is Buddhism. The highlights of Dhamma were, what are the main things the Dhamma preaches? To be kind to everyone, including animals, that we also have to be, not only the Buddhist, for everyone. We have to be kind to everyone, also to the animals. Treat all human beings, elder or young, with respect. We have to respect each and every one. Follow the path of non-violence. Hinsa nahi karni. If somebody has slapped me, it doesn't mean that I also have to slap him. Do not follow tit for tat. Respect all religion, whether you are Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain. We follow our religion, but we should also respect all other religion. Denounce expensive rituals and live a simple life. Do not run after the expensive things, expensive rituals, balidan hai or riti rivaj hai. We have to follow a very simple life. This is the preachings of Dhamma, peaceful coexistence. He sent out messengers to spread out Dhamma described above. So he used to send his messengers from his court, even his son and daughter he sent to many parts of the country and outside the country to preach about this Dhamma and this following these teachings which we have already learned. These messengers came to be called as Dhamma Mahamatas. Okay, जो लोग preach करने जाते थे about the Dhamma, they were called as Dhamma Mahamatas. These Dhammas were also inscribed on rocks and pillars to ensure they remained attached for future. So whatever teachings, be kind, be respectful, these teachings were inscribed on the stone pillars, on rocks, so that in future they remain safe. Ashoka maintained a large and powerful army to keep the peace and maintain control over the large empire. So he used to keep a large army to protect his empire from outside attack. He expanded friendly relations with states across Asia and Europe. So he was very friendly with all the states in Asia and Europe, and he sponsored Buddhist mission. So he was spreading Buddhism religion. He used to give lot of grant and money for the spread of Buddhism. He started massive public work building campaign across country. Over 40 years of peace, harmony, prosperity made Ashoka one of the most successful and famous monarch in Indian history. So he gave lot of money for making of where the monks and nuns live, and for making of stupas, okay, buildings, and he served for 40 years until today. He is remembered. He remains an idealized figure of impression in modern India. So he is, from modern India, he is a inspiration. Okay. So now next we have the edict of the Ashoka. Edict means the command. जो राजा की आज्ञा होती थी वो किसी चीज़ पे लिख दी जाती थी, किसी पत्थर पे या किसी स्तंभ पे, रॉक पे. ओके, दैट इज edict, the command of the king. So edicts of Ashoka, set in stone. are found throughout Indian subcontinent. So they are found all over India, ranging from Afghanistan in northwest, that means it is found in Afghanistan, Andhra Pradesh. Ashoka's edict state his policies and income. What are the things he did? What were his policies to be followed? We can know through these edicts. Two of them were written in Greek and most of them were written in Prakrit. So most of his commands which were inscribed on the stone, they were written mostly they were written in Prakrit language. A few of them, maybe two are written in Greek language, okay, Greek and Arabic language. The inscription reflect belief in the Buddhism and concept of Dhamma. If we will read these inscriptions and edicts of the king's command, we will know that he used to believe in Dhamma and Buddhism religion, okay, and how much he had worked for the spread of Dhamma religion throughout his kingdom. After the Kalinga War, the empire experienced half a century of peace and security under Ashoka's rule. So even after the Kalinga War was over, for many years, half a century, people lived peacefully, happily during the rule of King Ashoka. India was a prosperous and stable empire of great economic and military power, whose political influence and trade extended across Western and Central Asian Europe. So India was very famous in Asia and in Europe, Central Asia, Western Asia, Europe. The powerful praises of the Ashokan Empire, his good military, his administration, peace, prosperity, all that was there till Ashoka ruled. Okay, modern India also enjoyed an era of social harmony and expansion of science and knowledge. So education also developed a lot. Science, knowledge, social peace and harmony among the people lived happily during the rule of Ashoka. Okay, that is the edict. So how do we know? We know it from Ashoka's edicts. The commands which are written inscribed on the stone or pillar, when we read it, we know about the rule or kingdom of Ashoka. Okay, the next one we have the Mauryan administration. How the Mauryan Empire during the rule of Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka, the kingdom so prospered, so flourished, peaceful, harmony, good military service. How they divided the power. Okay, so the first thing we know that Mauryan Empire was under the guidance of Kautilya or Chanakya. Okay, so they had political setup. What was the political setup? The king was most powerful, but the king was helped by a group of people like Mantri. Like we know now, we have our India and we have central government. It is run by the Prime Minister with the head as president. So that time king was the head and he was helped by a lot of ministers known as Mantri Parishad. The governance of the state had different sections like security. So they had army का सेना विभाग अलग था और आयकर विभाग अलग था. Okay, like money, soldier department, army department, tax collecting department, economic department. All were these different departments and they had different people to look after it. Province, like our India is divided into different states for easy administration. So that time Mauryan Empire was divided into different provinces. Heading is there, na, province. So the empire was divided into several provinces. Provinces like we divided in states, na. तो state नहीं बोलते थे. They used to call it provision, dividing the empire into smaller sections. These were under the control of different princes, which were called as Kumars. Okay, तो जैसे हर एक स्टेट का एक चीफ मिनिस्टर है, वैसे ही प्रोविंस का एक प्रिंस होता था, गवर्नर होता था. He was known as Kumaras. The provinces had district and district had many villages. Same like we have state has district, blocks, villages. Same way they had district and groups of villages. Clear? Next, the judiciary. Now we have Supreme Court, High Court, District Court. So the king was the supreme judge, and although there were lower courts and panchayat at the lower level, the king himself could also be addressed by the common man for justice. So king was the main judge, but at local level also there were some court, panchayat, or in the particular district. But a particular person could approach to the king also for justice. Revenue, tax collection, officials, particular people were appointed to collect taxes, and they were given a fixed salary. So they had a good salary and they had to collect taxes. Spices were, spice means like you have what I will say, like jasoos, okay. The spies were appointed to keep a watch on the performance of the officials. So how officials are working, whether they are doing their duty properly or not, for them the king had kept jasoos, spies. Taxes were collected from farmers, craftspersons, traders, herders. So tax was collected from farmers, herders, traders. They were employed even to punish those who did not pay or disobeyed the rules. So the officials were also given authority to give punishment if somebody did not pay the tax or did not obey the rules. Understood? For why administration is good, political setup is good, okay. They have divided the empire into provinces. Provinces have different kumaras to rule it. They have good judiciary system. King is the judge. Local level also there is judiciary system. Then collecting of revenue, there are officials, and to look after the official whether they their duty sincerely or not, there were some spies, means jasoos. Public work. Now the king spent a lot of money on development and providing facilities for the people. So king used to spend a lot of money to give good roads, good well, good house, good traveling things for the people. So he spent a lot of money for the welfare of people. Agricultural prospered and stone work was in great demand. So during the Mauryan Empire, agriculture developed, the good roads, good houses, that people's demand were fulfilled. Religious staff for transformation. Ashoka believed that all religions should be respected and no one should cast any oppression as per anyone's belief and faith. So all religion are good, we should respect all the religion. Ashoka's message helped in spreading Buddhism to Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, West Asia and Middle East. So Ashoka spread Buddhism not only in India, Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, West Asia, Mediterranean Europe. Okay. Now the Mauryan Empire is considered to be the most significant period in Indian history. The period is known as Golden Period because people were happy, the empire was prosperous. Okay. The lion capital of Ashoka at Sarnath is not now adopted as emblem of India. In our emblem, जो हमारा emblem है भारत का, in that you can see Sarnath का स्तंभ, that is of Ashoka's. Mauryan Empire was perhaps the largest empire to rule Indian subcontinent until the arrival of Britishers. Till the Britishers came, the Mauryan Empire was ruling successfully. Okay, in decline began 50 years later after Ashoka's. After Ashoka's rule, after the 50 years Ashoka ruled, then slowly Mauryan Empire started to decline and it dissolved in 185 BCE with the foundation of Sunga. Then after the Maurya dynasty came the Sunga dynasty. Understood about the Mauryan administration? Good government system, good judiciary, people's demands were fulfilled, religions were respected, revenue was collected properly. Okay, so this is about the chapter, the First Empire. Read the chapter properly. If any doubt, we can clear it in live classes. Until then, read and study nicely. In the next class, you will get all the question, answer and exercises. Bye and have a very good day. Thank you.